not here. Specifically for Landon and Madison, I'm excited for you guys because we're going to do our very best to bring home as much of the energy from Olean as humanly possible. And for the people who are watching the recording, we're going to do our very best to share with them as well. I know it's never the same, right, if you weren't physically there, but we're going to do our very best to share some of this stuff with you. I'm going to give all of you guys some feedback from the conference. If you don't already know the details of the contest, we'll share with you the details of the trip that we're going to take over the winter break that we 100% need everybody to be on. And I'm going to give you guys 2 things to work on for tonight. And just FYI, if this ends up taking until 9 o'clock, I'm on board. But I have a suspicion this one's going to be pretty fast and down and dirty. Yeah? Bless you. I understand. I'm just nervous at this point of everybody getting sick. I'm getting my flu shot.
I was sick when I left.
I know. Olean. Oh, I'm well aware. I'm getting my flu shot tomorrow. I need to get all of your kiddos' germs away from my body.
And then Olean being cold.
Yeah. Anyway, what I'm going to ask first is for Becky and Kayla. I know one of the things we talked about on the way home was asking you to just share some of the stuff that you got from Kate's message, specifically your 3 highlights or takeaways from the event, what you're focused on now, and your next 3 action steps. Could I get one of you ladies to volunteer to go first?
I can go.
Sweet, I appreciate it. If you don't mind, Becky, if you're able to share your video, I'd love to see you.
My camera actually broke a few leadership academies back.
Of course.
I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see me, but
wonderful voice.
Okay, great. Well, for my takeaways, being able to actually see the workers there in the factory kind of put a whole complete to the cycle of how what we do really does affect other people, and that if we weren't to keep selling out in the field, that they wouldn't be able to keep making the products that they do. So it was nice to know that like we're actually making an impact somewhere. And also, while we were there, they ended up passing out a packet that showed like the new winter approach, which was actually really helpful, which I got a chance to test out yesterday. I made a few phone calls. And lastly, it was actually mentioned in the talk before Kate's, and I forgot the gentleman's name, but he did mention like a budget booklet where if you were actually write down everything that you purchase and everything you buy, and it would actually help you to like not spend as much. Mm-hmm. And it will kind of give you the chance of like, I don't want to write it down, so you just don't do it. Mm-hmm. So I also added that to my action steps. But the next part you mentioned was what to focus on for now. And for personally, I want to focus on regularly booking up my weeks and getting into the habit of just having full demo weeks and finding a place to put them, as well as finding up old directories and kind of just going with the acquaintance approach. Mm-hmm. I'm really going heads on with that. And then also just saving for the future, hopefully Jamaica, but saving for like upcoming events and future plans and goals and all that. And then the action steps, I plan to start scheduling about 3 to 5 demos a week. That's my goal for at least November and December and moving forward. And then I also plan to be more consistent with my Facebook startup and really get that going for the future months to go. Mm-hmm. And then personally, I want to get ahead of my school schedule so it kind of smoothens out the stress everywhere else. So
yeah. Yeah. Good. And by the way, I didn't ask you to put any thought into this on purpose, but what were you thinking and feeling before going on the trip? And then what's different now?
Before, I wasn't really thinking too much into it. I was kind of more of like, okay, it's going to be like a factory tour, snow, everyone was saying. I wasn't really looking too hard into it. And I was keeping an open mind. And going into it, it kind of felt nice to have a little confirmation in my decision of commitment. And it was nice to know that, like, it kind of all plays together and we're kind of playing hand in hand with people in Olean too. Mm-hmm. So it was nice to know. And I honestly ended up growing a bigger love for the culture that we had. So it was a nice experience, really.
That's awesome. Very cool. And then Kayla, if I can ask you similar stuff, the things that you wanted to share.
Top 3 takeaways, or
Yeah, top 3 highlights or takeaways, what you're thinking about now, and then your top
from
3 action
Kate's talk
steps.
specifically, or are you just talking about?
Just in general. I know at the end of Kate's talk, she
Yeah.
asked you guys to think about that stuff.
Uh-huh.
So I figured asking you to share that stuff would be the easiest on you, so you wouldn't have to like prepare an essay.
No, I was just okay, cool.
Yeah, just from the event overall, I think was your question.
Okay.
And if you don't mind, talk loud.
Takeaways and highlights, or just they're different. Okay.
Whatever gets you most excited. Those 3 things.
All right. So takeaway. One of them was from Brian Scuderi's talk, and he was like 95% commitment is hard and 100% is easy. And then also Joe Jordan. I talked to him the first night because he had a table on recruiting, and then I actually talked to him yesterday morning. Like he was having breakfast at the same time, so I like picked his brain then about the PR talk and stuff. And I was like, he said. The one word like that he used was authentic, and I feel like I was like, I'm not super high energy, and I was like trying to do that, and it just didn't work all summer. And him saying the word authentic, I was like, okay, like I wasn't being me. That's why I wasn't working. And then what was my third one? Well, this is more of a highlight. Having a roundtable, that was cool because I didn't know that was gonna happen. So like that was a highlight. I was like talking to Earl afterwards, and I was like, yeah, like I was saying yesterday, I really want to have a roundtable next year at Olean, and then like I had one. I was like, oh, okay.
You should add that to your dreams list and then immediately cross it off.
Yeah. Well, next year I want one for Branch though. But and then I know Kate like said like write down your January goal. Am I like that one is 15K for January? So yeah.
Cool. I love it. Thank you for sharing. By the way, am I correct? Joe Jordan is an Ivy League student. Is that correct?
Yes, he's like super, super smart.
Yeah. So Joe Jordan, I didn't know him before going to the conference either, but he's an Ivy League student at UPenn, if I remember correctly. One of the smartest people in the universe. Yeah. Yeah. Right underneath Bill Gates and Elon Musk and Steve Jobs. But yeah, super intelligent and a class act. And he was talking about the leadership opportunity. And basically, I thought this was entertaining personally. He was ripping on how the Wharton School of Business has an entire leadership program. Yeah, and he's like, I learned nothing. He's like, we did this, we did this, we did this. My leadership skills did not improve at all. He's like, we have a public speaking course that is a requirement. And he's like, I learned this, this, and this. My public speaking skills did not improve at all. And then he was talking about how being a manager in Vector for one summer moved his actual skill set forward more than an Ivy League education. And I was like, Joe Jordan, I appreciate you. So I think that's pretty cool. Kayla got to have breakfast with him. I didn't even get that, although we are emailing each other now.
It was like at 7 a.m.
That's wonderful.
It just happened to happen. He just happened to come down. I was like, I'm going to go pick his brain.
I love it. I love it. I'm emailing him, which is not quite as good, but good. Anyway, and then I asked Grant and Nick and Kevin to share. So Grant put together a short video. I think most of you guys know he has class during this time. So he's been doing Kate's at 5 o'clock because he has a class during this time. So here's a short video from Grant.
Hey guys, so John asked me to make a really quick video talking about the Olean trip that went on and the things that I learned from it. So the first thing that I learned was gaining confidence in the product and strengthening my why through that. Second one was talking about commitment versus motivation and how the differences between the two and how they're applied. Thirdly, talking about the Olean push and not selling for average, which is what Earl Kelly was focusing on. But before I talk about those, I just want to let you guys know I didn't want to go on this trip. I didn't want to fly. I hate traveling. And most of all, I was going to miss the last tailgate of the season on Saturday. But because of those 3 things that I learned and grasped, it was worth every single second going on that trip. And so firstly, I want to talk about the confidence of the product. And I gained this through the factory walkthrough, meeting the workers at the factory, them shaking my hand and saying, thank you. Like, I have a job because you're out in the field and you're selling. And I thought that like made me feel part of something bigger. I'm not just part of this Vector family. I'm part of the Cutco family. And I wouldn't have a job if they didn't make the product too. So having that team, and that's just amazing to me. So knowing that the workers work so hard to make sure each knife is perfect for me to sell, that strengthened a product, and also the process. Looking at the work that goes into each knife and seeing how it's made, that makes me believe, okay, yeah, this is the best product because of how it's made and the effort that is put into each individual knife. So secondly, I want to talk about motivation and commitment. And so motivation is temporary most of the time. Motivation fails, but commitment, when you commit to something, you're doing that. And the beauty of that is commitment, it sparks creativity, because if you're committed to do something, you will find a way to achieve that thing. And that's key. And so lastly, I talked about like the push and not selling for average, and that your why for the push isn't Jamaica. Your why shouldn't just be Jamaica. It's about growing as a person, and that's your why. You want to grow over the break. So once again, I talked about confidence in the product I gained, commitment versus motivation, and the push, and your why during the push, and this is important. So I hope to see you guys in Jamaica, and hopefully you guys sell, but not more importantly than selling, I hope you guys learn a lot and grow as a person through the push.
I love that. He actually emailed me the video, and he's like, I forgot to include my action steps. He asked me to share this, that he wants to get his call list up to 150 fresh people after he comes home for winter break, but before the next big push begins. He wants to get 30 new referrals from past customers, and his winter break is really short. He goes back just a couple of days after New Year's, so one of his goals is to do 30 demos in 3 days. However, I'm going to talk to him about being able to get the work done without doing 30 demos in 3 days. We'll see what we can do there. But anyway, that was Grant. Then I asked Nick to share his thoughts. I love that picture. That's a lie. And I'll tell you, I thought about editing/censoring this video. And then actually, in line with what Kayla said, I was like, you know what? This is authentic Nick Shields. I'm going to let just Nick be Nick.
Coming to you from the most blind man in Pennsylvania is my video. Jesus Christ. Okay. Favorite things from Olean. This is going to be really fast because I can't handle this. First, I really liked the factory. From day one, I've wanted to know the process of the knives because I was really intrigued as to how they're so good. Two, hearing the history about the company. Another thing I was really interested in since pretty much day two was how the origin of Vector and Cutco and how it got together and how it all started. Third was having a really sober talk with Earl Kelly, where we were both completely sober at dinner during Niagara Falls. It was the greatest 30 minutes of my life. He even hugged me, which was nice. 3 action steps I'm going to make. Have a 6K week. Just practice consistently banging that out. So when it gets to Jamaica time, I'm not here like I sold 600. Can I at least get like a Jamaican flag? 2, I have like 400 Post-it notes sitting on my desk at home. I'm planning to write through every single one of those by the end of this year, so I can like hoard a list of names and numbers I collect from my neighbors, so that Jamaica can be the easiest week of my life. Because honestly, making phone calls is like the second easiest part of the job for me. It's the notepads, note cards, key, whatever, the things you write on. That's way harder for me. And then third, I forgot my third. So I'm going to attach it to this email, and you can just read the third one for me. Okay, thank you so much.
Like I said, authentic Nick Shields. Here's one cool thing, though. He actually didn't attach the thing to the email, so I've got nothing to read to you. But here's what I did think was really cool. Some of you guys know this. Nick has been really his commitment to Vector and to pursuing an opportunity with it's been very low. He's been doing Leadership Academy, mostly just to check it out, and to keep his options open, but not really considering pursuing anything seriously. And he texted me, he's on the way home, by the way, the non-students who could be district managers next year got to stay an extra day with Earl Kelly and got to go check out Niagara Falls among some other cool stuff. So he and Kevin are on the way home right now. But he texted me and he said, hey, I just wanted to talk to you about a few things. Can we get a call? He said, I had a blast. It was borderline life-changing. I am more than happy that I came, and I'm so grateful that you invited me. And I'm really glad for that, because it was literally looks like it could be very well a life-changing experience for him. And then the last one I want to show you is from Kevin, asking to share his thoughts. He just sent this to me as I was starting Leadership Academy. So I haven't watched this yet, and I hope he doesn't curse a lot because I haven't watched it yet, and I have no idea what his filter looks like right now.
Hey guys, I'm here live with Nick at the Best Buy.
Oh my God.
I'm about to buy a drone.
Damn it, Kevin.
Sorry, John, I'm getting a drone right now. But anyways, the 3 takeaways that I got from the DM event was that, number 1, that social media recruiting is very lucrative. There was like 2 people that had 100K in sales from social media. Number 2, more than half Americans live paycheck to paycheck, and they don't have like much in their savings. Number 3, Vector's a place to be, and that becoming a DM is a move. And 3 things that I'm doing right now is I'm doing good in sales, but I just want to double it right now. Number 2, I have an online business, but it's not going that well. Number 3, learning how to become a better manager. And 3 action steps that I want to take from being at the event is, number 1, starting to brand myself with social media. So once I become a DM, I can start recruiting people. Number 2, selling more and getting more training will help me become a better.
Okay. Is that it? I guess that's it. Thank you, Kevin. Just FYI, he and I had a conversation about the financial wisdom of buying or not buying a drone. And he agreed he wouldn't buy a drone. So I texted him while the video was playing, and I said, damn it, Kevin, did you buy a drone? He's chosen not to respond yet. Anyway, like I said, if you weren't at the conference, I know that doesn't do it justice. I know that doesn't give you everything. But like I said, I wanted to bring home as much as I could. And more than anything, I hope you feel the energy and the excitement that a lot of people are feeling. And I know that if you didn't go, you're not feeling that. We even had a team conversation before we got in the cars to come home. Where it's like, hey, everybody back home isn't feeling what you're feeling. Everybody back home didn't get the motivation and energy boost that you got. And that's okay. So if you're not feeling that level of excitement, that's okay. But I do want you to take heart in that there are lots of things to be excited about, and make sure we get you to the next one, which is going to be after finals are over, a week before Christmas. So the timing will be good with school and everything being out of the way, and you'll be a lot less pressure on you. And you'll be feeling a whole lot different by the time we get to that next checkpoint. The one big thing that's coming up right now, though, is that they announced the trip. I think you guys picked up on it already. We're going to freaking Jamaica, okay? I am pumped about Jamaica for a lot of reasons. Number 1, you get to get a passport. And I know some of you guys have never left the country before. My first time ever leaving the country was winning a winter break push contest as a sales rep. And I remember back then it was a trip to Cancun. It was an all-inclusive resort, all the cool stuff. And I remember going to get a passport, getting it. And then when I was in Cancun, I talked to a division manager who was from a different division. And I was just being excited. And I was like, man, I just got my first passport ever. And the comment he said to me, this was back in 2005. He said, good. Now let Vector fill it up for you. You know, and at that point, I was just excited to be in Cancun. But I'm proud to tell you that 13 years later, I'm literally halfway through my second passport, because we have 2 or 3 international trip opportunities every year. And I'm on my second passport, and it's been filled up 100% by Vector. The only time I've ever left the country and actually paid for it was when we went to Malaysia to get married with Carissa's side of the family. So freaking love that. And for those of you who have been out of the country before, you've gone traveling with your broke friends. Now you get to come travel with your rich friends. And for those of you who have never left the country before, I'm excited for you to get to experience that. The hotel, by the way, there's going to be a video. I didn't get a copy of it yet because they just showed it to us yesterday. But it's an all-inclusive resort. So literally Vector will pay for your airplane. They pay for your hotel. And then once you show up, everything is paid for 4 days and 3 nights, I think it is.
I'm never leaving the pool.
That's awesome. By the way, I think there's 2 infinity pools,
yes.
And one of them has a swim up bar.
Yeah,
by the way,
the pool or the beach.
Yeah, by the way, the legal age to drink milk and honey in Jamaica is 18, so you'll be fine. And the swim up bar is definitely an experience that you need to experience. I've also, by the way, in my life, never been in an infinity pool. Really? Yeah, I know they exist. Oh my gosh. I've been to places that have them, but I've never been in one. Yeah.
You just need to get in one.
So I'm pumped to go get in one. I've heard it's a wild experience. Anyway, so Jamaica is going to be a good frickin' time, and I'm really pumped to have a bunch of you guys with us. So just FYI, a couple of quick contest announcements. They did offer a second chance to get credit for the Olean trip. So the deal for the Olean push was that if you sold 1,500, you would get $1,000 in credit. If you sold 2,500, you'd get 1,500 in credit. And if you sold 4,000, you would get 2,000 in credit. And the deal for this one, it's on the screen right now, so I'm looking at it, but you can as well. The dates go from when the Olean push started. So if you sold anything for the Olean push, that counts, right? That counts. And if you get to 1,500 by a week from today, holy crap. So if you get to 1,500 by a week from today, you get $500 in credit. If you get to $2,000 by a week from today, you get $1,000 or that's it. If you didn't hit the 1,500, then you get $500 credit. So just FYI, I'm not going to push that one super hard. The DC Metro division, we have a standard of high sales performance during push weeks. If you want the trip credit, you should absolutely go for it. For anybody that got close to 1,500 and didn't quite get it, you should definitely get it. But I'm not going to be as down your throat for this one because the Olean push was the one that mattered. But you do have a second opportunity for those of you who would like to go after that. The one that we do need every single person, and I don't care what position you see yourself in next summer, whether you want to be a district manager or a branch manager or an assistant manager, or you just want to sell or you don't even want to be in Vector, don't care. We need every single person on board for helping us build our team. Big armies beat little armies, 100%. We have a mission of doing a $2.1 million team next year in 2019, and that starts today. That's why I was interviewing people all the way up until the beginning of Leadership Academy, right? And we need every person on board. Also, if you're a manager with us next summer, the two jobs that you have are team building and selling Cutco. Like that's the job, whether you're an assistant manager, a sales manager, a branch manager, doesn't matter, right? Those are the jobs. So here's the deal for helping build the team. Obviously, it's good for us. It's also good for you. What is this? Let me come back to it. This. Son of a gun. Do I not have the handout? That's okay. I don't. Oh, here it is. It's on the thingy. So every friend that you get on the team, they launch from training and they sell some minuscule amount. I think it's $300. I think it's $300, $500, whatever. You get $1,000 credit toward the trip, up to $3,000. So you can get up to $3,000 by getting 3 friends on the team. You guys tracking with me on this? Yeah.
Homemaker plus 5. It's literally all their friend has to sell.
Homemaker plus 5.
Oh, goodness gracious. Oh my gosh. Essentials plus 5.
Essentials plus 5. Welcome back to Cutco.
Yeah.
It's been a little while. Anyway, and then here's what's wild. What's wild about this trip, I think this is insane. If you sell $3,000, by the way, the push goes from January 4th to January 16th. So you've got almost 2 full weeks. You only have to sell $3,000. That's dumb. 12 days, $3,000. Some of you guys could sell that just by sending an email for Christmas orders, right? And you get 2 chances to win the trip in a drawing. If you sell 4,500, you get 5 chances to win the drawing. I'll just tell you, personally, I don't love drawings, but you got to be in it to win it. And I love that, that's the first opportunity. But I know some of you guys could do that very quickly. The level I would be excited to have y'all hit would obviously be the 6,000 because you automatically go. You definitely won the trip. You're 50%. Vector pays for it. 50% you paid for it. But also keep in mind you got 25, 30, 35, 40% of $6,000. So you ain't hurting for money at that point. You sell $10,000, you get dinner with Earl. He's going to hook it up. I need that in my life too. Dinner with Earl is never a bad time. And then $15,000, you get, here's what you're going to take. You could get a TV. You could get a shopping spree. You could get, you might get the spa day. You might get the spa day. What I would recommend though is spending $300 in a Jamaica excursion because A, everything over there is dirt cheap. So $300 will go really far. And B, there's some really cool shit you can do in Jamaica that you can't do in America, including, I just found this out, a bobsled tour through the rainforest. I don't even know what a bobsled tour that's not on ice looks like, but I will 100% be finding out. and I would like it if Vector paid for that for me, and I would like it if Vector paid for that for you too. There's base jumping that apparently Kayla's going to go do.
I'm so excited.
I didn't know that was a thing.
Yes.
I will go base jumping just because Kayla's going base jumping. You should also come base jumping. And after that, we'll still have $200 left to play with after the bobsled tour and the base jumping. So I'm excited. It's going to be a really sweet time. So that's going to be for winter break sales. But again, helping us build the team helps the team. It's maximizing your role that you're going to play this summer, and also can get you up to $3,000 credit, which is friggin' wild. Friggin' wild. And that's the thing that's for all sales reps, you guys included, but the manager contest is easier. So here's what I want to do. And I'm asking you guys to take 2 actions very quickly. They can both be very quick. And then I'll give you 2 special announcements and we'll wrap it up from here. Number 1, for those of you who already posted on social media while we were in Olean, you don't need to do this a second time. In fact, it might be weird if you did it twice in 2 days. But if you didn't do it in Olean, do it now. And for those of you who are not in Olean, please do it now. Very literally, I sent you a screenshot of an ad that says 1850 holiday help, winter break work. I want you to post that on Facebook, Snapchat, Instagram, whatever you use. You can put it on your story if you don't want it to stay up forever, although if you do leave it up forever, obviously you get more hits on it. But I want you to post it and just include a caption with the website that I gave you. Yeah, just include a caption with the website that I gave you. So if you can post that up really quick. And then number 2 is log into your Blackboard or your Canvas and just type up this email and copy and paste it and send it to your classmates at school. Okay, so if you guys can do those 2 things really quick, and then please send me a text message when you've got those 2 things done. And once I get all the text messages, we'll move on to the special announcements. Yeah, if you don't mind. So take your time. Just send me a text message when you've got it done. Until then, I'll just give you space to do those 2 things.
us needing money and stuff.
Landon, I got you, fam. Thank you, sir. Resume the recording. Beautiful. I paused it just because I realized we were sitting in silence there for a bit. So here's my last two things. First off, for all of you guys, thank you. Just FYI, we'll be reaching out to schedule those people for interviews. And I've got three things. I'm going to ask you to jot these down for me really quick, and we'll wrap up with this. Number one, we had sent you an email about 2 weeks ago with a Google form link for referrals. And we gave an assignment for every Leadership Academy candidate to have 25 people in that Google form by this past Thursday. So by the time we arrived in Olean, some of you guys did it. Some of you exceeded it. Some of you didn't even start yet. The top leaders right now are Lydia and Heather from the Rockville office. They both have over 70. Last I looked, it was 73 and 74 people, or 75, yeah. Some odd referrals in there. And then in Olean, almost every single person wrote up a fresh list. So I know Nick added another 25 in the Google form. Carissa handed me a sheet of paper that I think had like 50 some odd on it. Becky handed me a sheet of paper that I haven't even looked at yet, so I don't know how many's on there, but it's a significant number. But that is one of your assignments, is to get at least 25 referrals into the Google form. And then the goal is to get 50, 75, 100, the more the better, both to help the team and also to give yourself the most shots at getting 3 good people to sell $500 and help you win the trip to Jamaica, right? And then, by the way, they will also have an opportunity to win the trip to Jamaica. So there's a good chance that you could help your friends not just make the money, not just get the experience, but also go party in Jamaica with your friends for a long weekend when it's nasty outside in the DC metro area as a thing, right? But anyway, so I will resend the link to you guys just in case you haven't received it for any reason. But we do need to get those in there ASAP. That was already due this past Thursday. I can extend you until this Thursday. But Kate is asking me how many we've got. She's been asking to see my Google form so she can go in and look at how many people you guys have added in there. And because we had so many people that didn't hit the assignment, I've been not showing her the form. I haven't let her see it. But by this Thursday, I've got a meeting with her, and she's going to have to look at it. So I want to make sure that thing is filled up, so we can be impressive as a team, and again, to help you guys out. Number 2, I met a guy recently while I was doing a volunteer event at Severna Park High School. He's a local guy. He graduated from Severna Park 2 years ago, and he's created an entirely online social media business where he's YouTubing, he's vlogging, doing all the stuff that is like really sexy and cool and everybody wants to do, but most people don't know how to make money with it. And he's making $10,000 a month doing that, all right, which is freaking cool. He's got some company sponsorships. He's monetizing his YouTube channel, among other things. And quite frankly, I know as a company, Vector, we are making a big move to maximize our social media. It's one that we are late in the game getting into. We've been doing it for the past couple of years and learning and getting better at it every single year, but it's something that we are doing here. So I suspect that we can learn a lot from this guy. His name is Kent, by the way. And also I know for you guys, this is a skill that all of you want to learn and want to be good at. And I think we talked last week about how everybody wants to be a social media marketer, social media manager, but most people, they know how to get likes, they know how to get shares, but most people don't know how to actually get money using their social media. I think I shared the quote last week. If I didn't share it last week, I'll share it now. My coach, Grant Cardone, he says, if your social media isn't making you money, you're doing it wrong, right? So I love that concept. Kent is someone who's, again, he's a local, went to Severna Park High School. He's figured it out. He's cracked the nut. So I'm going to be interviewing him one day this week. I'm going to try to get him to come and speak live at our Leadership Academy in the next week or two. If I can't get him live, I will absolutely get a recorded interview at the very least. But I just want to let you guys know that's something that I'm working on, and you guys expressed interest in having more outside speakers, and I found a hometown hero for you. So I'm really excited to share that. And then the last thing, final thing I'll wrap up with is this week, I don't have any scheduled laser calls in my calendar. I don't have a time for you to sign up for on the board like normal, but I am open to do laser calls with any of you guys. I know for those of you who are in Olean with us, you might feel like, man, I just got 3 days with John and I'm kind of johned out at this point. And I would totally understand that. I'd be sick. Never mind, that's not true. But in all seriousness, if you were in Olean and you feel like you don't need a call, that's cool with me. I know for a couple of people already, they're like, man, I'm really excited after Olean and now I want to call more than I did last week. So I'm on board with that as well. And then I know for some of you guys who are not in Olean, you might be feeling like, man, I really need a call with John or not. So I'm just going to offer, if you want to get a call with me, just text me, right? Offer me. This is the deal. If you don't want to call with me, no worries. If you do want to call, offer me 2 or 3 times that you could be available, right? So just reverse the roles from what I normally do. Offer me 2 or 3 times that you could be available, and I would be happy to get a call with any of you guys who wants it. So that said, that is everything I've got for this evening. I appreciate you guys. I hope you're feeling a little bit of the love and excitement. I hope you're pumped for Jamaica. So if you have any questions or need anything, I'll be happy to stick around. Otherwise, have a great night tonight, and I'll see you guys next week. See you.